I have not been following the World Cup, soccer for you Americans, football for everyone else, but it's almost impossible to avoid hearing about it, seeing it. A lot of the world's population is interested in the World Cup. Teams playing soccer against each other. And it's interesting, and it's not a phenomenon that is only limited to soccer. In the United States, you have, of course, the Super Bowl, massive, hundreds of millions of people watching this. Cricket, there was a cricket match between India and Pakistan. I think it was watched by about 1 billion people. It's impossible to even conceive of the amount of people who are actually watching this cricket game. I happen to like cricket, but I don't think I could watch a game that would last for 3 days unless I was well supplied with beer. But in any case, why are people so into sports? What is it about it that excites people so much? I think there are many explanations. I'm going to give you two. Yosef Dov Soloveitchik once pointed out that nowhere in the Torah is there a prohibition against atheism. There are statements of belief in God. There are prohibitions against idolatry, avodah zarah, idolatry. But the Torah doesn't say don't be an atheist. It says don't worship idols. And it is interesting, Rav Soloveitchik says the reason for that is because people are always going to be worshipping something. Human beings, he calls homo religiosus, i.e. the soul has a desire to worship. Built into the human soul is some level of religious feeling. There is a desire to have an attachment to something greater than the self and to worship. He says when the soul is healthy, when the soul is aware, then the soul directs that towards monotheism, towards one God. But sometimes if a person doesn't have that, they'll have to direct that religious feeling, that desire to worship, that desire for the absolute, desire for the transcendent, they will transfer it to other things. They may transfer it to sports, they may transfer it to science, to humanism, to ecology, many areas. Not necessarily are they bad areas, but they do become, and they tend to become, an object of worship, a god in that sense. And sometimes it's in very negative areas, maybe extreme nationalism in some cases, xenophobia, racism, and so on and so forth. But the soul desires to worship, and the soul wants to pray, and the soul wants to adulate something, someone greater than themselves. Sometimes I think this is transferred into the arena, literally, of sports. That will be one idea. A second idea is that the soul seeks oneness. God is absolute oneness. Hear, O Israel, Lord is our God, the Lord is one. That means a unique oneness to which nothing is comparable, either mathematical unity or physical unity or species unity. God is a unity beyond everything. The soul, inasmuch as is created in the image of God, but Tselem Elokim, as it says in Genesis, the image of God, similar to God, that means the soul craves its source. It craves oneness. The soul wants to unite. It wants a unity. Now, if that is accomplished in the ideal way, the soul feels unity with God. The soul will desire unity with another person. A lot of people spend a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort in trying to become one with just one other person. Not everyone succeeds. But the desire for unity, the desire for oneness is also built into the soul. And sometimes it manifests itself in our desire to be part of a huge screaming crowd yelling, whatever the chant is for the particular team you have in soccer, or in football, or in cricket, or in curling, or hockey, or whatever it is. But it is that desire to be part of something a greater unity than merely me. Something which is a unity of 50,000 screaming fans. It may be a unity of 200 million people watching something. But there's a desire of the soul to have that feeling of unity. So therefore, I would say, whether you like soccer or not, I think the incredible popularity of these things, I think to some degree testifies to the desire of the human soul, first of all, to worship, to have religion, to have a connection to that which is beyond it, something absolute. And secondly, the desire of the human soul for unity, a unity with everything, unity with God and unity with that oneness, which is God. And so I think the fact that there are crowds going to the soccer, etc., is not a bad thing. It's probably morally neutral, but I think it is a manifestation of something very, very beautiful in the human soul. I know it's hard to see that in British soccer hooligans. I know it's hard to see that in two countries in South America going to war over a bad call in a soccer game. It is very hard to see that, but it is often true that a positive feeling can have, unfortunately, negative impact. Some in the same way that sometimes negative motivations could have a positive impact. We are a mixture. But I think deep down, it is the soul seeking out God and the soul seeking out the oneness of God, which manifests itself in this social phenomenon of love and almost idolization of sport, and the love for being part of this great unity of 50,000, 20,000, 100 million screaming fans. So that's what I have to say about the World Cup, maybe a little bit about what Judaism has to say about the World Cup. And of course, I would hope that Israel would win, if not Israel, at least Australia. And that's my take on the World Cup. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section. If there is an issue you would like me to discuss in future, put it in the comment section. We'll see if we can get to it. Thanks for watching.